Good afternoon. It is Friday, 1 o'clock in Amsterdam time, and we're going to have our first edition of DiamondPigsTV. And I'm very happy to have Idan Velleman. He's part of the investment desk of DiamondPigs. We're going to talk about that event, that company later. And I have Greg Shapiro, which we all know from the Netherlands second and America first. Hi, Greg. How are you doing?
Totally great.
Totally great.
I think I'm working with a green screen and a green tie. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Anything can happen.
Yeah, normally you would say that that's totally, it would be transparent. We can look through it. Okay. What are we going to do today? We're going to talk about, we want to do this weekly, and this is the first time, so bear with us. We're going to make it more beautiful, more professional. But what we're going to do in this 45 minutes is basically talk about what's the crypto news, because we had a very exciting weekend. You know, we had it went down quite a bit, so we're going to talk about what are the causes of the crash or the correction. People who are in crypto know that it's just a little correction and what we can expect of it. We're going to look at what's inspiring Idan from a macro level, about what is the role that crypto plays and how does he get inspired. We have some interesting speakers. We have, of course, Greg Shapiro, who's going to talk about how he got involved in Bitcoin, first at the blockchain conference out of 2017 or something like that, and what he thinks of it. And we have the coin of the week, which we're going to discuss. We're going to answer questions as much as possible. And I'm also going to give, at the end, I'm going to give a little demo of DiamondPigs. DiamondPigs is a new company, which I started with 5 people. And what we do is we provide intelligent strategies for people who want to invest, but don't want to spend too much time, who want to leave it in their own wallet. And we have intelligent strategies available for that. So that is the reason we're starting DiamondPigsTV. And we're under the radar at the moment. We're in the friends and family phase, but we will slowly come out next year. And we'll talk all about it at the end of the year. So that is the idea. First, how did I get involved? What role do I play? I'm the CEO of DiamondPigsTV, but I'm not the investor. I just want to tell you, I know a lot about crypto, but I'm really bad at timing. To give you an idea, we had somebody talk to me about Bitcoin, and that was really a fantastic guy. It was Ronald van Woensel. Let me show you here. And Ronald van Woensel, he's the one in the middle. This is the one, Ronald van Woensel. He's a brilliant software developer, and he's also a very good investor. And he talked to me in 2011 about Bitcoin, and he says, this is an amazing technology. You should read it. And I just go like, oh, God, I'm a trend watcher. I had all heard about digital cash from David John. I thought it was not interesting. But he said, it's really interesting. You should pay attention to it. And I ignored him. Then the next time he talked about it, it was €7. And I go, wow, it went from 7 cents to €7. And it's not hacked yet. And I just got a little bit more interested. And I bought 100 Bitcoins at that point for €7 a piece. I left it in some kind of a mobile phone, which I immediately forgot. And then went about to do all kinds of other things. Then I was really interested in Tesla at the moment. And I wanted to buy a car. And he came back and he says, hey, it's €700 at the moment. €700 is the Bitcoin now. So it went up 100. So I basically did what trend watchers always do. They're too early. I sold everything and I bought a Tesla. Mind you, I didn't buy Tesla shares. No, I bought a car, which was really dumb and stupid of me. And so I just want to publicly declare that I'm not smart in what I should invest to and what the timing is. So, but since then, I've organized every year the blockchain conference, the International Blockchain Conference, with 400 or 500 people of all kinds of companies, and try to get them interested in blockchain and crypto as one of the cases. So that is my background. If we then talk about Idan Velleman. Idan, can you maybe talk a little bit about yourself and how you got involved in crypto, and then we're going to the crypto news of the week.
Yes. So my name is Idan. I'm, Vincent, we know each other for many years. We are neighbors and very good friends. And you've been doing indeed a blockchain conference every year. And one day, I think it was in 2016, in June, you came and we had some party here around, and you said, you know what? you need. I learned about a new coin. I said, so what? It's a Bitcoin, but it's very high already, so I'm not interested. And I said, no. There's Ether, it's Ethereum. It's something new, and you define it really nice. You said Bitcoin is for private people and Ethereum is for business, and that's all I know about it. But let's dig into it, and we did. We started digging into it, and that's how I went into this. Into this
I know
space.
what was the price of Ethereum at that time?
It was $6, and we bought some. And of course, afterwards we start mining, and I spent the money on buying mining, and we did a lot of activities on the crypto. So, it was I got rid of them too fast as well. But that's how I started.
You were really good. So, and I know that. And since then. And now Idan, and he has started many companies. One of the companies he started was he predicted prices for hotel rooms. Very mathematical, interesting, sophisticated algorithm. And he sold it to Booking.com. And he worked there for a couple of years. He knows how to build big international companies. He's a very good organizer, and he's a very good investor. So he's part of the CryptoPigs friend. So let's talk about what news did you select this time? So first, I see that you selected the Colombia largest bank taps Gemini to offer Bitcoin Ethereum trading. Why did you think that was interesting?
Well, I think it's interesting because we see that crypto gets more and more into the mainstream. And we see that on countries like El Salvador that adopted Bitcoin as their official currency. We see that banks are doing it as well. By the way, also in the US. Less in Europe because of regulation, but we expect that will come as well. And here is another example of one of, I think it's the biggest bank in Colombia that start trading in Bitcoin and offering Bitcoin. And I expect this to see it in more and more banks around the world.
Yeah.
So I think it's interesting.
Connection to the Winklevoss crypto exchange, Gemini. So that's really the guys who bought all the Bitcoins from the FBI, and they started Facebook. They're totally into crypto. And their exchange, Gemini, is now working together with the biggest bank.
And they promise that they will always own 1% of all Bitcoin supply worldwide. The Winklevoss since it started.
Yeah. So the interesting thing is, if you look at in the Netherlands and in Europe, we are expected to have all these big banks coming to the market around 2024. In 2024, there's going to be regulation. And that regulation says that all the crypto investments are equal to investments in shares. That's the new legislation which comes about, and then everybody will have to have a license. We will also have to have a license if we want to basically do investment strategies for clients. At the moment, we cannot be regulated. We want to be regulated, but at the moment, it's not possible. But you see that in other parts of the world, it's already becoming very much popular. And yeah, you see, but I think England will be probably earlier than Europe. Europe takes a little bit longer time. Huh?
Yeah, 2024. After the regulation, there will be regulation, and I can see the traditional financial services institutes are joining the crypto massively.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go to the second news. So this is really interesting. This 2024. We will come back to that on DiamondPigsTV, and talk about what is that regulation? How is it getting equal? I think it's a very interesting point. Then we're going to. I thought this was really interesting for me. Erik Schmidt. I know him already for a long time, and Erik Schmidt is a really traditional ICT guy. He was. First, he was the VP of Sun Microsystems, which nobody remembers anymore, but they started Java. And he was the technical guy, the CTO. Then he was, of course, we know him because he was the chairman of Novell, and then he was the chairman of Google. And Google we all know, and he's been there. He was the CEO and chairman of the board till 2017, and now he is the strategic advisor at Chainlink. So I think it's really interesting that a guy which is really high up there in the big 5 tech companies is becoming strategic advisor to Chainlink. And can you tell me what is Chainlink, Idan?
Chainlink is an Oracle. And to make it really, really simple, what Oracle does, they connect blockchain to different external systems. So whether it's data or whether it's any other system that relates to the real world. I mean, if we want to convert Bitcoin to US dollars, we need a software system. Oracle is that system. Chainlink is by far the biggest. Worldwide, there are others like Dia and others, but it's just part of the ecosystem of the blockchain. Very important one, and they're by far the biggest one.
Yeah, and what kind? And an Oracle can basically provide the temperature, can provide the course, all kinds of exchange rates. What kind of other things can an Oracle do? An Oracle can, in principle, be everything which connects from the physical world to in a systematic, controlled way that you can really work on it. It can also be news items, I guess. That this or that.
Yeah, it can be anything that connects us to the real world. I can't think about anything else right now, but
look, it's even Associated Press. So if you want to verify that this guy has been chosen president, or these elections have been won, or that Merkel is really gone. Is really gone. That would also be an Oracle. So they are one of the most prestigious companies in this Oracle thing, the connection of physical world to the blockchain world. And if then a guy like that goes to a company like that, I think it's really interesting. So I think that's really big news, because a lot of times people from a very respectable world, and I don't know if big tech is respectable. I think you can say that. They don't want to be involved with crypto, but if Erik Schmidt does it, it means also acceptance. Again, acceptance. Okay. Then, of course, we've been very interested in the correction, and you came up with this article, Idan, that the whales, Bitcoin whales, accumulated 3 billion. Who are the whales? And how much is 3 billion?
Later on, we'll touch a little bit more about the crash, and we'll make a link to the whales as well.
Yeah.
But I just wanna show that when there is a crash, the ones who are really buying in, those are the whales, and that means that the weak hands are usually the retailers, and they are the one who get scared, and when there's the correction, they're getting rid of their crypto, and then the ones who are for many years in this space, and they with the diamonds hands, they are their whales, and they are always there when the crash happens to buy the dip. And then when it goes up and up and up, the retailers are joining and say, wow, FOMO, fear of missing out, and then the whales are starting to sell. And that's a very normal cycle in the crypto.
How do these guys know when to? I mean, it's so simple. Buy at the dip.
Buy the dip.
Sell all-time high. It is not a very sophisticated thing. But why do retailers always do it wrong?
I think it's a behavior. It's a human behavior, right? I mean, when you have something and you bought it for €1,000 and you see that it goes down and down, you think, wow, it's going to go to zero, and I'm afraid. So let me just at least save 50% of it or 70% of it. But if you understand this space, you know that it's normal. There are cycles going. It goes up and it goes down and goes up and goes down. And if you understand that, well, it will go 20%. That's okay. It can go 50%, and that's also okay. On the long term, we'll buy the dip each time. We'll accumulate more and more coins. And when it's going up, because it is going up, and it's going up more than it's going down in the last 13 years, we'll sell from time to time and make a lot of money.
Okay. All right. So that is basically the news which we got out of it. I got one other thing, and I think it's interesting that one company which has been amazing me is also Ripple. And with Ripple is the XRP wallet, and they were always number 2 or number 3. They've gone down a little bit. They've gone down a little bit to it, and they are now currently having a lawsuit with the SEC. And basically, the SEC says that the way they were handling the company, they have huge amount of XRP, which they have in storage, which they don't touch. But nobody knows how to do their governance, and the SEC has decided to sue them. The 14th of January, there will be that's the predicted outcome when the judge will come with the outcome. And if they win, this lawyer, I will share actually also the links in the chat. You can always ask me XRP. I'm sharing that in this app, so you can basically look, and I will also do the top 3. But there's a lot of prediction that if this lawsuit is won by XRP, that XRP will then be allowed to enter the market again. Because if you go to Binance in America, you cannot buy XRP. All the exchanges in America, it's not allowed to buy and sell XRP anymore. It's in the ban, and still the thing is worth a hell of a lot. It went up quite a bit. So I will. The prediction is if on the 14th they will win, it will put Ripple in a leading position, and I think it's worth it. Do we do anything in our investment with XRP?
We have one index investment. That's the top 10 coins, and XRP is in the top 10. So yes, we have a small position in XRP.
Okay, yeah. So one of the strategies is the top 10 coins, and of course it's number 8. It's now 85 cents, and the value is 40 billion, and the circulation is 47. But they have another 60 or something like that in escrow, so it really can be the amount can be double. So then also, of course, the predicted value, if they would start selling it, could also be double if they would enter that into market. So XRP is an interesting one to watch what happens on the 14th of April. But you're not investing it yourself, right? You don't put it in your fund, because I think it's a ridiculous coin. I mean, the company is really interesting. It makes software for instant payments, but they never use the XRP. The XRP is just a coin they thought they would use, but they never use it. And still, it is there, and it was top 4. It's still the top 8, and I don't get it. So, but we'll see. Okay, so that is if we then look, Idan, you are where do you get as an investor? Where do you have your macro view? Where do you get it from? What inspires you, and what do you think are the big huge trends, and who inspires you to think about that?
So one of the guy I'm listening to very often is Raoul Pal. Is a macroeconomist, very smart guy. He's the co-founder of Realvision. Realvision is a media company that interviews of business people and companies. And since a year or 2, he got into the crypto space, and I would like us to listen to a few words he's saying about the crypto, because he talks really nice, much nicer than I am, and he explained it really nice, and he puts things in perspective, and let's listen to him.
Okay, let me do that. I have to share the screen a little bit differently, otherwise I don't have sound. But I think he's really an interesting talker. He's really an interesting talker, and how he explains why he's so enthusiastic about the whole crypto world.
I've explained to everybody now that this is the fastest adoption of any technology in all recorded history. So the chart you can see on the screen now shows that the internet, back in 1997, when it had 150 million users, was growing at 63% a year. 150 million users in crypto is present day, and it's growing at 113% a year. So this is why it's so hard for us to catch up, because it's growing at a ridiculous pace. And it's only accelerating. I mean, we've seen in the last year alone the rise of DeFi, NFTs, DAOs, central bank digital currencies, stable coins. In a way that none of us could have expected. It's just happened so fast at such scale. And that's only going to continue. And that's the core philosophy of the exponential age. How I look at this, to frame it simply, is this is currently a $2.5 trillion asset class. It is, if you compare the other asset classes, they're between 150 and 300 trillion until you get to derivatives, which are 1 quadrillion. And then when you get to FX, it's multiple quadrillions. So the reality is, if we continue this rate of adoption, we should get to an equivalent size asset class in these digital assets. And that would make them worth 200 trillion.
Yeah.
We have never, in all of human history, been given an opportunity that an entire asset class, not a stock, not a single token, an entire asset class goes up 100x in value, probably by the end of this decade.
Okay. So that's a nice big picture. He says we ain't seen nothing yet. It's 2.5 trillion. It's going to 200 trillion. So it will go up a factor of 100.
Yeah.
And
the other thing is it does, and that's the other I want us to look at. He actually compares he uses a model that's called the Metcalfe's law, and it's a model to evaluate the value of a network.
Yeah.
And it takes the number of users, it takes the number of connection of each users, and then the applications. And he start comparing between the Bitcoin cycle to the Ethereum and to other first layer platform like Solana and Luna. Let's look at that.
all righty.
So the biggest network is currently Bitcoin. And Bitcoin has less applications built on it than Ethereum does, but it has more users. So it's immensely valuable. It has store of value proposition that most people are familiar with. What is interesting is adoption effects seem to repeat themselves. It seems to be a human behavioral thing. So if you look at this next chart, Bitcoin now is basically exactly following Bitcoin 2013 in price structure. It's weird. This is not a chart I just pulled up today. I've been following this for a year and a half. Once I first started discovering Metcalfe's law, and I'm like, bloody hell, this is weird. But it gives you a rough idea. I don't expect it to be perfect, but it gives you a rough idea. And what I'm expecting is a gigantic rally into year end, and we'll talk a bit about an extended cycle in a sec.
It's a spooky chart. It's a fractal chart. It shows the self-similarity of growth within Bitcoin at different points in the adoption cycle.
Yeah, and if you remember, 2013 was a hell of an adoption cycle. It was the initial one, and it had some violent moves. It's kind of suggesting violent moves. You know, just by using that chart, it gets me somewhere like 300,000 Bitcoin. Price range. Okay, that's above most people's expectations, but I don't see any reason why the chart's not going to work. And we'll come a bit more about how this cycle plays out in a sec. But the other killer chart is, once I start discovering Metcalfe's law, I start realizing that Ethereum's exactly following Bitcoin's last cycle. And it's like, oh my God, this is spooky. I mean, I've got action on my Bloomberg in real time, and it almost works. Tick for tick. I've never seen anything like it. And that gives a cycle projection for Ethereum of 20,000. And again, I actually think it's going to overshoot. But I thought, well, if my logic about Metcalfe's law is right, then these layer ones that we'll talk about later should also fit. And bizarrely, here's the chart of Solana against Ethereum in the last cycle. When Ethereum was the darling, the new breakthrough, it's exactly following. And the same is true of Terra. It's exactly following. It's like, wow. So as these different protocols get adoption, they're all behaving in the same way. Well, Bitcoin is repeating its early cycle of massive adoption. So for me, this is super interesting. And again, I don't expect these to be perfect, but they're contextualizing network adoption, which is, I think, everything in this space.
So that is so that's really interesting that he that he's really inspired about those trends and how they go the same. Is that also? Do you see that too? That's what Bitcoin did, that Ethereum did, and Solana is really interesting that they go the same way.
We see that too. We also see that what he says. Bitcoin is a store of value. It's a lot of users. It's the brand. You may say it's the internet of the crypto. But Ethereum, Luna, Avalanche, those Solana, those we all call them the first layer platform, they actually are more interesting because they build a whole ecosystem around them. There's a lot of
Yeah, they are the workhorses. They are the workhorses of the crypto world. I mean, we always look at these things. If you had invested €1,000 on in January the 1st of this year, you would get 2,000 in Bitcoin, 5,000 in Ethereum. Companies like or coins and platforms like Cardano, which is also this, the academic version of Ethereum. And then you have Dogecoin, but then the latest is Solana, and that is if you've invested €1,000 at the beginning of the year, you would have had €136,000. It's unbelievable, 136x. That's absolutely huge. Did you invest in Solana?
We didn't invest in Solana. Solana is in part of our portfolio right now. Also in Berkshire and in another in Pennywell. We see two upcoming now. Solana is not the favorite right now in terms of investment. So we see Terra Luna is another first layer platform who's doing very well in the last couple of months. In fact, is one of the only coins that in the last month is positive in terms of return. And the other one that we expect to do very well is Avalanche. We'll talk about it a little bit more. That's the coin of the week. It will follow suit and maybe even the winner of all.
Okay. Well, I'd be very interested. Okay, let's talk about the crash because and the correction of last week on Friday. And I looked at this video about 2 weeks ago, and this guy is a hero of mine. I cannot pronounce his name. Chamath Palihapitiya. He was the first investor of Facebook. He was the first investor in Uber. He was the first. And he also worked with Elon Musk at PayPal. And he's really a fantastic, interesting thinker. I think he's really also for you. He's for me always what the broad vision is. And he talked a couple of weeks ago. He talked about what people were doing, and he says, "Hey, we're at an all-time high in terms of companies. We're having a huge inflation. We have people like Elon Musk and like Elon Musk is selling billions and billions of dollars in shares, and the same as Jeff Bezos." And he says, if these smart people are doing that, that there is time for a correction. And and he basically said, well, we're going to have a big correction in all assets, but also on crypto. So he sold everything, and I thought that was really interesting. But he did that 3 weeks ago. So the question is, how do you predict that that these things are these things are happening, these corrections are happening? And I want to ask you, Idan, how did you get to know this correction? How did you react on it? And how do you look at these crashes? How part are they of this cycle?
Well, there's a couple of things you need to look at in general. In terms of macro perspective, we know that in December, mainly in the US, some hedge funds want to take some profit before the end of the year. A lot of people need to pay tax. So we see in the cycle that very often in December there's some corrections. People just take profit, and it's been a great year for many people and many hedge funds in the crypto space. So they're doing that. We saw that may happen at the same time. It's not happening always, but we see sometimes correction in December. The other thing we could see that the number of future contracts was very high at some stage, and that's when it was all-time high, and that can be a little bit more risky. So we started to de-risk some of our coins just before the crash. Of course, not enough. It's never enough. We could have moved everything to US, so we didn't enjoy the crash, but it could get worse.
Yeah, you have a unique emergency button. You have a way in DiamondPigs to immediately say sell everything and make it go to USD, and then 3 minutes later, your whole portfolio is basically moved to either Bitcoin or USD. And so you have a sort of an emergency button.
Yeah, so
You have,
our
to know,
investors,
you have to know when to press it.
you have to know when to press it. Our investors have it, we have it all, but also our users have it. So if our users think, well, I want to be on the safe side, and I can just move everything to USD or to Bitcoin, and they can do that very easily.
Okay.
The other thing that what happened actually on Friday is that maybe I can share the screen for a second, Vincent, and I can show some technical analysis.
Please do. I always love it, the way you guys are always drawing these lines and coming up with these points. Let me see. I see you coming. That's good.
Yeah, so I'm showing the chart of Bitcoin following the US dollar. So Bitcoin in US dollars, and I'm looking at the area where the crash happened. You see, it was in the beginning of December. And in technical analysis, you have support level and resistance level. And the first support level that we met on Friday evening was 53. And once the support level is lost, a lot of investors or traders, they have what we call a stop sell, and then they start selling their asset. And you could see on Friday evening that happened a little bit, and then it recovered. That was the mistake we made, because we thought, okay, that's recovered. We are on the safe side. Somewhere at 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock, you could see that this started running faster. And what happened is that when people are closing their positions, there's a lot of people with the future contracts that also need to, that automatically their position is liquidated. That means that if they had the long, or initially if they had a long, the position is closed automatically and they sell their Bitcoin, and then it's accelerating. And that was until 41K. What happened here? Why we initiate that? It can be a couple of whales. We just say, hey, we can initiate a big sell, and then in 41 we can buy it back. And it also was Friday evening, so there's not so much buying power because the institutes are not working on 4 o'clock on Saturday. So I think that's what I personally think happened, and then it recovered because the whales, as we saw, the whales start buying very fast until this area where we're at now on 48, 49, 49K.
And does it make you nervous? Does it make you tremble? Do you sleep bad at night when something like that happens, and you have to make decisions which basically influence a lot of people?
I don't sleep really well, but if you're in the crypto for a while, you've experienced that many times, so you know it happens. It happens. It's part of the deal, and there's a cycle, and there are corrections, and there's a bull market, and we still think, and we see also on this chart that we are still on the bull market, and we expect a recovery.
Yeah. Well, I've been in this market now since 2013, so that I was a player, that I was in it, and that I made conferences, and I've had about 5 times that it went down 90%, and after 5 times you sort of get a big skin. It's just like you're going, oh, I'm just going to keep on going. But still, I've seen that it makes a huge difference which when you get out, when you get in, if you know how to stop to get out on the right moment, you can make a huge bigger profit than the already very respectable returns we get on crypto. Okay, thank you very much for those ideas, Idan. What do you expect for the rest of the year? I
think just estimation. I think we're going to see an end year rally. I think I hope, and I think the chart are actually telling us if we are not going to get another crash, which is always a possibility, we should see an end year rally. I'm going to ask you a difficult question. The December 31st, last day of the year. What is the? We're also asking from Bitcoin. Are we going to get an all-time high? Are we going to get back to the 65? I think 60K.
60K. And Q1, are we going to get an all-time high in Q1?
In Q1, I can see a lot of those hedge funds and in America, the institutes are buying again Bitcoin, and I can see that the bull cycle will continue also with altcoins, and then Bitcoin will be above 60.
Okay, great. Thank you very much, Idan. Let's go to Greg Shapiro. Let's go to more after depressing correction, which basically, doesn't make us happy. We're used to it, but doesn't make us happy. But every time when I listen to Greg, I basically get a smile on my face. And Greg, tell me, what is the best paying job you've ever had?
Why? That's a good question, Vincent. And first of all, are you hearing me okay?
Sure.
Yeah, I've got my microphone. The camera's here. Microphone is somewhere there. But yeah, Vincent Everts, ladies and gentlemen, gave me my best paying gig ever back in 2017. And it was a crypto conference. And yeah, Vincent, you said, would you be willing to get paid in Bitcoin? And you said, I will pay you 1 Bitcoin.
You had no idea what it was.
That sounds cheap and terrible. These Dutch people, they're so cheap. But yeah, Vincent, at that point, I think the Bitcoin was trading at, in terms of US dollars, I think it was about $1,250 or $1,500.
Yeah.
Which is a good, and I was good. I was worth it. But
yeah, what did you do? What did you do for me? What was the gig?
Well, Vincent, at that time, the video just had come out in 2017, and that was this video called the Netherlands Second Video, and I am uniquely qualified to do the voice of that video because I am the American Netherlander. I grew up in America first, and then I moved to the Netherlands second. Okay, and so that is indeed how I clue into that classic Donald Trump voice. The secret is in the hands, okay, and the eyes and the mouth. The eyes are never fully open, and the mouth is never ever closed. And so, yeah, I ended up.
Remember, let's listen to a couple of seconds from it.
Oh, okay.
It's going to be a great video. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. Our founding father was William of Orange, who fought against the Spanish, total scumbags. They fought against us for 80 years, but they couldn't beat us. Couldn't do it. Total losers. They're all dead now. Ride them. You can take them to Pony Park, Slock. We've got all the best words. All the other languages failed. Danish, total disaster. German is not even a real language. It's fake. It's a fake language. We've got Pony Park Slock Houden, which has got to be the best pony park in the world. It's true. They're the best ponies. They are. You can ride them. You can date them. You can grab them by the pony. This is the...
How many times has this video been watched?
Millions and millions, Vincent. Okay, this video went viral back when viral was a good thing. Okay, and yeah, man, we recorded it on a Saturday. It went live on a Sunday, and this thing, went around the world and back. People from America were sending me the link. Have you seen it? You probably haven't seen this, but have a look. I think you would like it.
100 million views, and everybody started to make imitations of it and that kind of stuff. So it basically was so viral, just like crypto went viral. So how have you after you received the Bitcoin, you called me every month if you should sell it? That I remember that.
No, I mean, yeah, okay. I was wondering. Well, at that point, you had told me what to do and what not to do. But you hadn't told me the whole story about, buying a Tesla. I do remember that you helped me in 2017, like after this crypto event, you helped me set up a Bitcoin wallet. And at that point, I had to invent a 4-digit PIN code, which I never wrote down. And so when I was calling you, Vincent, I think it was partly, oh, should I sell now? But also, if I would want to sell now, any clue? Do you remember what numbers I chose or
Yeah,
how?
so it's interesting. There's now 19 million Bitcoins, and 7.3 million are have never been moved in the last in the endless amount of periods.
Yeah.
And of that, probably half is lost. 1 million from Satoshi, whoever that is, and the other half the people have lost. So that could have been your PIN code, that kind of stuff. So
well, I did recover my PIN code, and it was just 4 digits, and so I went through, from 0000. There was no penalty for 3 times and you're out. So I just kept trying until I found my, luckily I can give away. It started with a 0, so that was lucky. And now I've got my 12-word whatever phrase wallet key password.
Yes. What do you think of this crypto now? I mean, now that you've been involved and you have a Bitcoin and you have been able to see that you can take it in and out, what do you think of it now?
It's plainly amazing. I have to get the story straight of I think it was one of the rappers in America, hip hop artists. Was it 50 Cent maybe, who was undergoing some cash troubles, and the accountant said, are there any other sources of income or any barter, maybe trades that you did? There was like a case of champagne somewhere, like, well, that has appreciated in value now. And he said, someone paid me in Bitcoin, but 100 Bitcoin back in like 2010. That's worth a lot now. Can you access it? Do you have those codes or not?
The private keys,
private keys. I'm also thinking about, future proofing my own passwords. Like, if I get hit by a truck tomorrow, would my wife or kids have access to any of my passwords and lists? That's a separate question there, but it's worth
thinking about it. Well, I'm very glad, Greg, that I was the best paying gig ever. And for people, you have a fantastic book about the Dutchman, the American Nederlander, and how we Dutch are is a fantastic thing. And you also have a real good YouTube channel where you make fun of the European community, you make fun of the Netherlands. And of course, you're an actor and voiceover. And if you go to Boom Chicago, we should all look at it. So thanks very much for doing this great conference, this great press conference of Donald Trump. Yeah. We will all miss him dearly. And
thank you. Well, until the next election, which will be the last ever U.S. election. So anyway, but thank you for having me. Thank you for giving me that best paid, and thank you for the advice on what not to do, because it came to the point where I did end up selling because it's not a it's a bit of a pandemic crisis. So yeah, we did end up dipping into savings and trying to sell some of, but not the entire Bitcoin. And so yeah, I did not buy a Tesla, but I also did not.
Stick around, Greg, and if you have anything more to say, just jump in, no problem whatsoever. Idan, we're going to continue, but with the coin of the week, which we do every week. What is the coin of the week this week?
Today I want to talk about Avalanche, and Avalanche is one of those first layer platform. Maybe we should define what a first layer platform is. If we have the internet, we have Google, and we have Facebook and Microsoft, I would just compare the first layer platforms players like the Ethereum and like the Avalanche and like the Luna and Solana to those guys. They're the one who are building an ecosystem where DeFi's, decentralized finance, and FNTs, and DAOs, and gaming, and everything which crypto consists, they are the ones who are accommodating all of that. And Avalanche, and one of the biggest challenges that those platforms have, and Ethereum has the biggest challenge because it's the biggest, is the scalability. And scalability means how many transactions you can do per second. Ethereum is trying. It moved from different consensus model. We won't touch a lot about that. From trying to move from proof of concept to proof of stake, and they also work with a second layer platform who help them to scale this platform. But still, the biggest problem Ethereum has right now is the gas fees. So for every transaction you do, even if it's €1, you may end up paying 50 or 100 or 150 euros or dollars for transaction. And that's because there are too many transactions. People want to do the transactions, and then automatically the price goes up. So a lot of other solutions came up, and Solana was one of them. We talk about the Luna. Today I want to talk about Avalanche. Avalanche is interesting because I think the technology they developed, and I studied that a bit, seems to be very interesting and may be the best or most advanced so far developed. One of the things they have been doing is that the number of transactions is the highest, is 4,500 transactions per second. And that's
how much? 4,000?
4,500. And if you compare it to Ether, it's 15 transactions, and Bitcoin is 7 without the second layer. But so it's huge. The other thing is that Avalanche can create different subnets, and it's essentially different blockchains that they can give. For example, if a government would like to work with a blockchain, Avalanche just create a subnet for them. And it can also decide whether it's a private, so only for the government, or it's a public, that everyone can access it. So I think that's very interesting. And what they also did is that they allow developers working on Ether to move the project automatically without so many problems to Avalanche. So if people saying, well, we have too many issues, probably with scalability, we could just move the project easily to Avalanche. So yeah, we believe in this. We took position in our strategies with Avalanche, and we are accumulating now with the correction. We are accumulating more and more coins because we see that as one of the future players in this space.
Yeah. I saw that you had an interview here with this guy. Who is he?
Yeah, that's the CEO and co-founder, and he used to work for Ethereum. Many of them who came up with new platform actually started with Ethereum. He's a professor, he's a computer engineer, and in this interview, which I recommend, it's a bit long, it's 45 minutes, but he explained exactly what they do and what's the difference between them and other platforms, and highly recommended. I recommend to watch it.
He's Turkish, huh?
He's Turkish,
yeah. And do you think the quality of the team? So he is one of the team members. Did you study that the group behind it?
Well, he gathered people who used to work for Ethereum, and the guy has been studied in the US, so he has a lot of guys working for him there. But no, I haven't done a deep dive.
Yeah, but you think it will be a workhorse? I mean, there's this big race of who's going to be the platform where you're going to deploy all kinds of application on. Who's going to be the blockchain computer? And of course, Ethereum is number one. They have many developers, and they're almost half of the size of Bitcoin. And then you say that the next couple of them, Solana, and what do you think of the other? Competitors, Cardano and those kinds of guys?
Well, yeah. So first of all, I don't think there will be one winner. I think there'll be a few winners, and I think like we have Google and we have Apple and we have Microsoft, there can be Solana and Luna is the same, and Ethereum. Each platform has its own advantage and on use cases where different companies may choose to work with the one or the other. Cardano is very interesting as well. I see a lot of white papers on Cardano and less execution. So I'm at this point less impressed by.
Is there a lot of action on Avalanche? I see that the price is going. The price went up quite dramatically, and then it went down from 136 to 80 something. Do you think this is a good moment to step in?
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I see more and more project coming into this platform, and on the long run, it's definitely a good investment.
Okay. Then another video which we basically looked at was, which I was very interested in, is this guy. Who is he? This is the video of the week, which we thought was interesting.
Yeah, his name is CZ. I try to practice on pronouncing his name. CZ. Originally, he's a Chinese, and he's the founder and CEO of Binance. And why I find this very interesting, because I didn't know this guy very well, but I know there's a lot of bad hype on Binance in the news, and when I listened to the interview, I was very impressed. This guy is humble, he's modest, he's smart. He doesn't even care about money. He says it, and I know he said it in the past, 99%, and he's one of the richest person around the world right now.
Mm-hmm. He's very young, huh? He's very young, and he had also an interesting career he worked for some very interesting companies, and then he started Binance, and he was quite aggressively moving ahead. I mean, if you do trades at Binance, they are factor of 10 cheaper than in other exchanges, and then also he's 7 times bigger than the next one. If you have Coinbase and he's about 25 times bigger than Kraken. So it's really a huge company. He's very humble, very interesting to
I think you get it through. Yeah, I think so. Transaction is 0.1%, I think, for each trade, and he actually is going to make it cheaper. That's what he says here in this interview. He's very much interested to work with the regulators around the world to make sure, of course, that Binance is accepted by the irregularities. No, I was very positively surprised to hear this interview. So highly recommended. Few weeks ago was taking CZ.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So it's also an interesting guy because we took it as the first exchange we supported from DiamondPigs. Let me tell you a little bit about the company, which we now have this DiamondPigs journal. We're going to talk about crypto, the coin of the week, people who are interested to follow the news. And but let me tell you a little bit about the DiamondPigs. And DiamondPigs is a company which was really created on top of to make companies like Binance more approachable. Because what we already saw, I showed you this slide, that if you intelligently invest in crypto and not only do Bitcoin or Ethereum, there is a huge difference in return on investment. And I've always been a hodl man. I just bought Ethereum and Bitcoin and I never touched it. It went up and it went down and I didn't do anything about it. And I didn't look at new ones because it's too difficult. There's 25,000 of these coins. And we wanted to make it, we investigated it, and we started a fund about 4 years ago. We learned a lot about it. And we turned out that a lot of people just hodl. They don't do anything. And instead, they should do intelligent investing, but they don't have time. They don't have the interest, just like actually with shares. So we started with this group of people. Jan Prins is in marketing. I do sales marketing, and I'm the CEO. Ronald in the middle is the guy who is really, these two guys, Bart Mellick and him, are building the platform with the support of other people, and you and Ronald are also the investment desk with a lot of people around it. So what we want to do is offer a secure environment to offer you intelligent strategies. You can basically get strategies from us and they will be executed in your own wallet. And the one we selected was Binance, because Binance was 7 times bigger and they have incredibly low cost of trading. And they're very sophisticated IT system, very smart. But in the next year we'll support more. We'll go to support more trades. So we talked about this guy, and these are some examples. We were called Diamond Pigs, and so all our investment strategies are also pigs. Berkshire, Duroc, Genua, and Pennywell are all pigs, and they are different. They are different risk profiles. For example, Berkshire is the top 10 coins, and that will be automatically calculated. It's an algorithm. Duroc is a portfolio manager, and it's weekly trades. But they also are the most 10 to 20 most promising companies. So Solana is part of that, but also others like Ethereum is part of it. And we'll see who's in there. Then we have Genua. Those are the fast movers, trying to get things which go up and down, trading daily. And we have Pennywell, which is created for the people who say, hey, I like crypto, but I don't like the fact that they use so much energy. Crypto, if you look at Bitcoin, it uses as much as Ireland, 50% of Ireland. And Ethereum also uses a whole lot of energy. Those are all proof of work. And the new coins are proof of stake. It's not anymore a lot of computers which need to compete with a lot of energy, but it's basically how much coins do you have and what role do you have in the ecosystem, and that's an environmentally friendly asset which we basically created last month, and the return of those was since 2019, Berkshire did 859%, Duroc 800%, and the different periods. These strategies do have different results. So this is the overall over a long period, and Genua and Pennywell they did for a very short period. I will show you a little bit how that works. So let me show you how the platform looks. And let me first go. You first have a dashboard. It's meant for people who want to invest in crypto but don't want to spend too much time on it. You have a crypto, you can see how it's going up and how it's also going down. Of course, we have also with crypto is going down. You see the portfolio balance. You can see how much of these crypto strategies which we have selected. You can see how the performance has been doing. So you're catching me. If you would have caught 2 weeks ago, it would be plus 15%. And we just started in October. So I will show you a little bit how well these strategies have been doing. So here, if we look at, for example, for a year ago, if it's 100%, you see that Berkshire and Duroc have done 327% in 296, and Bitcoin has done 169, and these two were not part of the business. So they've clearly outperformed Bitcoin. You can then say, oh, what is this Berkshire? You can click on it. You can see what coins are in there, and you can basically see how they are doing. And you can do that with the other ones, too. So that is basically the different strategies. And the nice thing is, the only thing you have to do is saying, okay, I'm a user, and I want to select a combination of these strategies. For example, I want to have Genua. Those are the most aggressive ones, and I want to have some of the energy friendly. I want Duroc, and I want Berkshire. If you select these strategies and you click on confirm, your portfolio will be changed. For example, you go from Bitcoin 12% to 9%, Ethereum from 10 to 11. It will be, you go from BNB, the Binance coin, it goes up a little bit. So you see that everything will be recalibrated. You just press confirm and you're done. If you don't want us to manage your account anymore, your Binance account, you click on this and it's immediately off. So that is, and all these trades are being executed in your wallet. At the moment, this is your portfolio, and these are the trades which have been doing. And Binance charges 33 euro to do a trade volume of 45, and we charge 10% of profit and about 3 to 6% per year for the whole on the capital we manage. So that's basically what we do. And I want to invite everybody who listens to this podcast. You can just go to Diamond Pigs, and if you're interested, We're still in the friends and family version. You can try it for free and see how it works. This is a good time to step in. I'm not giving any financial advice, but hey, after a correction is wonderful. You just signed up, or you come to basically join a Zoom seminar, which we give every week. Every week, and you can sign up on our website. So that's been a very interesting. It's been an interesting ride, don't you think, Idan, to start this company and to provide this? And about 90% of the people who have crypto, they hodl, and they could basically profit from an intelligent approach. And we have to prove that we can outperform the market and outperform Bitcoin, which we have a nice group of. Okay.
Yeah, I just want to say one more thing, Vincent. I think that those shows that we are doing are important to educate people. So we know a lot of stuff, and people don't. There are a lot of people who are a little bit insecure on the crypto space, and there's a lot of rumors and a lot of things that said that are not entirely wrong. It'd be interesting for us and good for us to educate people and what we know. That's why we do those coin of the week, and we do those interviews and news, and I think it's a good thing to have such a show.
Yeah, I think what we want to do, we want to provide news and coins of the week and video of the week, so people can have a sort of a point to orient themselves. And I also want to get people where we invest in. If we invest in a coin, that we basically get all these people here in DiamondPigsTV. And also we'll listen to what you want. If you are a listener and if you basically find this interesting, tell me, just Vincent@diamondpigs.com, what you find interesting. What should we talk about? What guests do you want to have here? And what are you interested in? We'll also always have a customer in the audience and basically telling us how they basically got involved with crypto and what they think of using DiamondPigs, what their experience are. So that's the first episode, and exactly an hour. Idan, you were nervous about it. How did you think it went?
I think it went okay. I mean, we'll get used to it. I don't used to it like you, but I think it went okay. We'll get better. That's
yeah, we'll get better. We'll involve, but I think it was fun for the first time. Okay, Mr. Shapiro, thank you very much for joining us, and I hope you will enjoy your crypto ride. And I think actually this is a very good point. I mean, you should from this moment on, I think we're going to have a nice end of the year, and certainly next year will be a top year. So I hope you'll be smart with your investment and don't lose your private key.
Yeah,
that's a good advice for everyone, right?
Yeah, we're good.
Good advice. All right. Hey, when can we see you? Greg?
Good question, Vincent. Hopefully, there will be live theater performances starting in January, and to commemorate the 1-year anniversary of 6th of January in Washington DC, I will be doing my show Leaving Trumpland at Boom Chicago Theater, and maybe we'll even do a StreamYard event about the future of democracy in America. So
and I like this one very much, the United States of Europe. So yeah, Boom Chicago would be fun. I will definitely be there physically, and also I would tell everybody, I'm sharing the link here. This is the YouTube channel of Greg, and I would highly recommend everybody to get there. It's just making a lot of fun. Why do you make fun of Europe?
Yeah, because I think it's the best shot we've got at the country that America was trying to be. So that's why I moved here. Yeah,
you're a very good Hollander. Thank you very much, Greg. Thank you very much, Idan. We'll see you next week, same time, 1 o'clock at Friday. Still then.
Doei.
Doei.